Oh hi, don't mind me, I was helping this new NG setting up and protect him from spies.
Are you sure about that?
Hey guys, Hand Toasty here. I'm here to talk about how to counter Pyro as the spy, because even though Pyro is supposedly Spy's hard counter, there are still many weaknesses that the Pyro has that the spy can exploit to help win a 1v1. The first and simplest trick, and also most effective for playing against the Pyro, is literally avoid them. The Pyro is equipped with a powerful flamethrower, flare guns, and other utility weapons that can set you on fire, causing afterburn that will make it difficult to escape, plus do damage. When you start a fight with a Pyro, you are put on a clock telling who can kill who faster, and if you waste any time at all, you're going to be waking up in the respawn room. The more average Pyros will be playing on the front lines, protecting their engineers, reflecting rockets, and supporting their team, making avoiding them very easy. If you understand their territory and their behavior, that is. But more advanced Pyros will be looking for you and will randomly spy check. They won't spy check you for anything, they'll spy check you for just existing. You need to understand that your disguise is not going to hold up against a Pyro. Or, in fact, don't have faith in disguises at all, really. But especially against Pyros, they will spy check you. And they may even choose to flank just to increase the odds of finding you.
That's no good.
A good Pyro will play in more of a support role and work around their team instead of going off their own just to get kills. This is going to make your life a little bit more difficult, because getting caught out by a Pyro in front of their team is an absolute death sentence for a spy. The spy just does not have the capabilities as a class to deal with that. A soldier, maybe a devilman, sure, but a spy? No, you will be wiped. However, when alone in a 1v1 environment, the scale can be tipped in your favor. Now I know we all want to go for that dopamine surge we get from trick stabbing, but like buying items off the Manco store, it just isn't worth it. The way Pyro's flame damage works is very similar to Heavy. If he flames you for too long at close range, you will be Control-Alt-Deleted very quickly, so failing a trick stab, although incredibly rewarding and satisfying, will definitely be likely to get you killed, because in the time it takes to set up another stab, or take out your gun, could be all the time you have left to face the Pyro before he kills you. Instead, I bring to you the surprising revelation that the spy from Team Fortress 2 has a gun. Many spies choose to ignore this weapon, but the stock Revolver is actually an extremely reliable weapon. At close to mid-range, it can kill a Pyro in about 4 shots, which is incredibly reliable. Most Pyros will chase you with a flamethrower if you run away, giving you an easy opening to turn around and start pumping shots at them, while they struggle to catch up. Beware of flares, most Pyros will likely switch to a flare or shotgun if this happens. Either way, the Pyro will either chase you until they run out of health, or they will break chase and retreat, giving you another opening to pump in shots. And let's always remember, because it gets forgotten a lot by other spies, it isn't your job as a spy to be the top fragger, or the top, you don't have to have the top kills, top points. You are there to harass and disable the enemy team. You're there to be a nuisance. I know it doesn't show up on the scoreboard, but a Pyro that is wasting time chasing you in the back line is a Pyro that isn't fighting on the front lines, which is one more Pyro your team doesn't have to deal with. So just by dragging out this fight with Pyro, you are helping your team. A good Pyro who knows you're a spy will be extremely hard to fool into getting trick stabbed, but you always have to test the enemy team to see what you'll be able to get away with. The best way to trick stab a Pyro who's going to spy check you is with any variation of a blind corner stab. Quickly running around a corner and then coming back around when the Pyro is about to turn can often give you just enough time to get behind them and get the stab, but also remember you can mix this up with a stairs type as well, because a lot of stairs have corners. And if you mix them up, then a Pyro, it'll kind of fry the Pyro's brain, and hopefully it'll get the stab in. But I cannot stress enough how risky this actually is. A good Pyro is going to know all of your tricks, and it's probably going to be able to counter any trick stab you pull on them. So gunning them down is a way safer option. Always remember, you're one of the second fastest classes in the game. You still kind of have Scout's ability of picking your fights. So you don't need to engage a Pyro if you don't have to. And don't try and take on the Pyro near his team, or one of his team members near the Pyro. It's not worth it either. Right? Go pick someone who's just rolling out, go pick someone who's setting up a teleporter, or something like that. But if you pick the medic right in front of the Pyro, you're not going to have a fun time. But there is a loadout out there, rumored to give you an advantage against these Pyros. You should only pull this out when you're really suffering, but this loadout uses the Diamondback, the Spicicle, and the Dead Ringer. All of these work together to give you way more survivability, thus giving you a huge advantage against Pyros that want to kill you. The Diamondback will let you store crits. When you get a backstab or when you sap engineer buildings, they should be stored and used in emergency situations only. And then there's the Spicicle, which the ability of the Spicicle is when you take fire damage, you're completely immune to any fire damage for 1 second, and you have 10 seconds of afterburn immunity. However, you lose your knife in the process, but when you're facing a Pyro, it would be probably better to stick with your gun. And then finally, there's the Dead Ringer. This item used to be a lot more powerful back in the day. What it actually does is that when you have it out, if you take any damage at all, it fakes your own death, gives you a burst of speed and some damage reduction. This is great for getting you out of situations, but a Pyro may not believe this, so decloaking early and gutting the Pyro down is a safe bet, or if you want to be stylish, you can use the speed boost from the DR to try and get a trick stab on the Pyro. But remember, very risky. I would not recommend this, but if you do, you will feel like a god. So the things you should bring into your next game of Team Fortress 2. Number 1, the Spy has a gun. Remember to use it the next time a Pyro is trying to WM1 you to death. Okay, number 2, the Survivor loadout. It can give you a hell of an advantage when the enemy Pyro is being incredibly suppressive. Number 3, trick stabs against a Pyro just aren't really worth it. If you fail, you are more than likely going to die. Okay guys, I think that's all the information I can give you guys right now. Just remember to try your best to avoid Pyros. It's not a fair fight, but it's also not impossible to win against them. So that's all for now. See you guys in the next one. And you really didn't want to watch this video and you just skipped to the end. I'm going to tell you the secret right now. The Ambassador can 2-shot Pyros. Then you don't need this video. You can do that. You don't need this. I don't have anything for you.